One of the things that Donald Trump has come on the political scene and claimed is that he is a financial expert, that he is a government expert, that nobody knows more about this or that than I do. So he says. And it has been proven time and time again that Donald Trump is but a moron, bereft of any intelligence or acuity surrounding the topics that he claims to be the smartest man on the earth about. The economy is one. Taxation is one. And now with his proposal to levy 10 to 20% tariffs on everything, these countries ripping us off. Organizations like the Center for American Progress have done studies and analyses, and they have proven, they've shown, that the tariff thing that Donald Trump is trying to impose on Americans is really going to be like a 4% federal sales tax strictly on the middle class, or on everybody, but on the middle class and the working class is who it's going to hurt the most. So Donald Trump, with the Republican Party, the party of low taxes and little government interference, is really trying to hurt Americans and their pocketbooks at a time when corporations are squeezing people with shrinkflation and price gouging, something that the Biden administration with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are trying to beat back against, trying to legislate and make illegal for companies to do. On the other side of it, you got Donald Trump assisting them in doing that. Here's the headline from Center for American Progress. Former President Trump proposes an up to $3,900 tax increase for a typical family. Former President Donald Trump has been running on a 10% tax on every imported good entering the United States and a 60% tax on every imported good from China. The Center for American Progress Action Fund has calculated that this would amount to an annual $2,500 tax increase for a family in the middle of the income distribution. Now, Trump has opened the door to an even larger tax increase by suggesting that the across-the-board tax on imports could go as high as 20%, saying, I'll quote it, and then I'll show you him saying it, so you don't have to rely on this. We're going to have 10 to 20% tariffs on foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years. We're going to charge them 10 to 20% to come in and take advantage of our country. Here is him saying this in Asheville, North Carolina, just a few days ago.
We're going to have 10 to 20% tariffs on foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years. We're going to charge them 10 to 20% to come in and take advantage of our country, because that's what they've been doing for nothing, to take our jobs. We're going to charge them.
Two more paragraphs here. Using the same methodology, Center for American Progress Action estimates that a 20% across-the-board import tax combined with the 60% tax on Chinese goods would amount to about a $3,900 tax increase for a middle-income family. This includes a $200 tax on food, a $240 tax increase on oil and petroleum products, and a $210 tax increase on medicine. A typical family would therefore pay between $2,500 and $3,900 from Trump's import taxes, depending on the precise tax rate between 10% and 20% that various countries' goods could be taxed at. Now look, there are multiple visual aids, if you're more of a visual learner, that I can put on screen. And we can talk about exactly the numbers, some of them outsized, some of them seemingly not as much. But when you combine all of these, for those of you who are like, oh, well, $200, I can handle $200 over the course of a year. But can you handle $1,620 plus $500 plus $300 plus $220? Here's another one. This particular chart really puts it in perspective. And this is just the swing states, the battleground states here, that you're already facing a 5.6% state tax increase, sales tax. Can you afford it being nearly 10% when you add on what would ultimately be a sales tax? Because tariffs aren't just absorbed by the company that's being charged the tariff. They pass that along. It's basic economics that they're going to pass that along. If it costs more to produce, more to sell an item, we end up paying for it. And so it's going to come by the way of what ultimately is a sales tax. So your sales tax, if you're in Arizona, would end up being 9.6. If you're in Georgia, 8%. If you're in Michigan, 10% your sales tax would be. 10.9% in Nevada. 8.8% in North Carolina. 10% in Pennsylvania. And 9% sales tax in Wisconsin. Is that good economics? Is that looking out for the working class and the middle class in this country? I think the answer is self-evident. Do you not? Donald Trump doesn't know more than anyone about taxes. Donald Trump isn't the brightest, greatest mind the earth has ever known about the economy. And I think we know that based on the track record of his first administration and where he left the United States, one, adding nearly $8 trillion to the national debt in only 4 years, but also the fact that our economy was in absolute shambles. He did not act the way he promised he would relative to jobs and everything else. He left us in hock, our grandchildren in hock, like the Republicans like to say, for the sake of the wealthy, the sake of the rich. Their tax cut never sunsetted. The middle class tax cut had an expiration date on it. He's not looking out for the middle class. He's absolutely looking out for the wealthy and the richest among us in this country. What do you think? I would love to know. You can talk about it in the comments below. That would be fantastic. YouTube likes that. It tells them to share this video with new audiences who might not see it. You can call, leave a voicemail as well, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, every day, all the time. No time limits on emails either. daily@dollemore.com. If you're interested in helping me produce these videos, helping me produce this message, you can click the join button below, and for $1.99, you can help me do just that. I would appreciate it right here. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Same kind of a deal, just over on Patreon. I would appreciate it very much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. I'd love to see you there. And I eventually will see you next time. Maybe the next hour for my next video. Be genuine and take care of one another.